stuff anyway? Is this something, music won't be playing toward them so that they
No,
can? at least-
music's not gonna be playing towards them at all. Most of the music's gonna be played towards Main Street,
Towards the yard.
so.
Would it make a difference, Corey, if you took an hour off the end of the program and added it to the beginning, instead of going from 3 to 10, go from 2 to 9 or something like that? Would that?
2 to 9 would be all right.
You'd be agreeable to something like that, huh?
Yeah.
Like the people in apartments would like that better anyway, just 9
Yeah.
o'clock, the time you
Yeah.
got it cleaned up, something probably 9:30 or better or something anyway, so.
Yeah, 'cause music's gonna stop it. I just need to, if it goes from 9 o'clock to music stops at 9 o'clock, I just need an hour to clean up everything that we've got out there, so.
You would be receptive to that change then, Corey? if it went
What's that?
From 2 to 9, then you'd be receptive to that
Yeah.
change then, if it did that?
I know that there was a concern about the driveway for the blue house, being able to get out. That would be the only other thing I'd say is probably run the barricades. Kitty corner, is that, and you were over there.
Yeah, that lady that lives across from me in that little blue house anyway,
Okay.
just so she would have access. and stuff
Yeah,
anyway to
we
get
can make
out.
it so she can get out.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. She can get out, no problem, so. Okay. Well, with that then, we need a motion to approve a street closure request by the Boulders Ink Shop for a grand opening block party on Saturday, July 25th, from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 9 o'clock at night.
Hold on one second. You want from 2 to 9, because are you gonna end the band at 9, or are you gonna
The
reopen?
band will end at 9 o'clock.
So you wanna
It
make
actually be
this?
from 2 to 10.
I would make the closure, the band at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But close the street or open the street up at 10.
Yeah.
I guess
Okay. We can be open by 10 anyway then?
Yeah, we can be open by 10.
give it time to clean up and
Yeah.
do whatever needs to be done.
And if there's most people, if they're gone by 9 o'clock, we'll shut the band down early. So, I know we got the fair going on that week, this weekend, so.
Okay.
I'd make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's business, Corey?
I'm starting to book up for September already, so.
So it's been encouraging, huh?
Yes, the city is, I'm very glad the city's taking
Yeah.
part of it, so.
Well, good.
It's taking off.
Good.
Thanks for locating your business here.
Yep, thank you.
You never know.
We're gonna get close to that.
Alrighty, this being the time and place for the scheduled public hearing on the matter of proposal to approve and authorize execution of a development agreement by and among the city of Humboldt and Mitchell, Aaron Fridolson, and North Central Iowa Service LLC. I will open the public hearing at 5:59. Aaron?
All right, the public hearings regarding the development agreement with Mitch Fridolfson, his new building. He's already started getting the underground work completed for the construction of the building. The building will house his business and additionally a new hardware store inside the new structure. The development agreement is for a tax rebate of the taxes for 5 years, starting at 100% and decreasing down to 20% each, and decreasing by 20% each year, which is the standard incentive for existing businesses expanding in the community. As part of the agreement, the developer pays legal fees for the agreement. So, I guess one thing I should also mention, we've had complaints in the past about how high the legal fees are on the development agreements. They do run, what, like 4,000, 5,000?
Depends, usually
Yeah.
around
2? Oh, okay, 2 or 3. We've had some.
We've had some higher ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of times it's that they have to go back and forth with changes quite a few times, and it gets more expensive, but they are pretty high, but there's not really anybody else. There's 2 companies. You've got Hollers and Cooney and Dorsey and Whitman. They're the only 2 law firms that really handle these kind of tax increment financing, urban renewal, along those lines. If you're doing lesser development agreements, Eric can take care of them. He does a great job with them. But I think he would even tell you that it's best to somebody who's handling that work, and they've done all of our amendments for quite a while, so, I guess just something to be aware of, if you hear a complaint, about the cost. It is expensive, but it does protect the city from potential errors and omissions on
Well, it's up to and including $50,000.
Mhm.
So that's a pretty good return on your money for $4,000 investment anyway, so.
So, yeah. And I'm guessing, Mitch's costs will be pretty low, because there wasn't a lot of back and forth or anything like that. It was just straight through. Almost done.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I didn't realize Mitch has 17 employees, and then one of the conditions of the contract, he has to hire 2 new employees in
Mhm.
January of 2016, and
Yeah.
maintain that 19 employee level throughout the term of the contract then.
Right. And Gloria sends out the certifications every year at the, was it October, you said? In October, and then the company verifies back that they paid their taxes, that they've hit whatever requirements are included in the development agreement, so.
If he's that busy in that small building, he'll really be busy in the big building, so.
My God,
You know, Just
I guess.
the retail store alone's gonna take several employees, so
Driven by his building now?
that's a large amount.
There's like 16 truck parked around
Yeah. You notice it now that you
It's
got
really
all the
building
red.
business.
Yeah, he really had, no, it's we're very fortunate,
Yeah.
especially with the new, that new retail business alone.
Yeah.
Great boom, and he won't have to run them large all the time anyway, so.
Maybe he hasn't mentioned and doesn't want to, but do you think he's got something in mind to repurpose the old building so it just doesn't sit there empty, or it's hard to say at this point?
I don't really know. Hasn't mentioned it.
Mhm.
You know, and I think he'd even tell you that the 2 is probably safe. I always tell somebody, choose a safe number, don't get into a situation where you say, I'm gonna hire 5 people, and realize that was the top end, and you don't end up hiring 5 people. So, I think that's a safe number. You know, it's always nice when you get, you know, property taxes, employment,
Mhm.
and, you know, in this case, you're gonna be generating sales tax revenue too. So,
Good, yeah. Okay, we're good. Anything else, Aaron?
nope, that's it.
Any comments from the council? Do we have any written comments or objections on file, Gloria?
No, we don't.
Do we have any comments or objections from the general public in attendance this evening? There being no more comments or objections on the matter of proposal to approve and authorize execution of a development agreement by and among the City of Humboldt, Mitchell, Barron, Fidalson, and North Central Ohio Service LLC, I will close the public hearing at 6:05 p.m. Alrighty, this being the time and place for a scheduled public hearing on the vacation of the parcel of land located in the Wildwood addition to the City of Humboldt, Humboldt County, Iowa. I'll open the public hearing at 6:05 p.m. Aaron?
The parcel of land's located in the Wildwood addition, and it will be transferred to Ryan and Abby Harklaw. The process is being handled by using the ordinance at the city attorney's direction. They'll be paying the normal 19 cents per square foot for low-value city land. You know, we've done this for quite a few nights. 10th Street vacated up near Marceau's land, north of Highway 3. Mitch Fridolfson with the house, you know, quite a few of these. So, that, like I said, we've talked about this before, but it's just the 2 pie-shaped parcels that would have been, or that were connected to right away on Eagle Ridge Drive. And I think the total square footage is somewhere around 3,170 square feet, something like that. So, talked with David actually about it, and there's, all the storm runs to the north side, so there's no concern as far as having an outlet, which is really the only reason that you'd ever want to go back through that area, is because there's a ravine back there. So this land doesn't need to carry a utility easement on it, because everything can stay in that right-of-way section, and you don't need to deviate back into the woods there, so.
Any comments from the council? Do we have any written comments or objections on file?
No, we don't.
Do we have any comments or objections from the general public in attendance this evening? There being no more comments or objections on the vacation of a parcel of land located in the Wildwood addition to the city of Humboldt, Humboldt County, Iowa, I will close the public hearing at 6:07 PM. And this being the time and place for the scheduled public hearing on the vacation of a parcel of land located in Eagle Ridge addition to the city of Humboldt, Humboldt County, Iowa, I will open the public hearing at 6:07 PM. Aaron?
Same thing, like I said, it was two parcels, so we get to go through the public hearing and ordinance twice. One of these, I think, was 50 square feet?
Something.
It's the most, it's probably the most ridiculous survey ever filed. But it's a teeny little chunk, but it brings the right of way to where it's the normal city right of way all the way through.
It's
the curve.
uniform in that curve, so there was just two little slivers off of it that didn't make it uniform. This is just making it uniform.
Yeah, and one of them was in Wildwood, one of them was in Eagle Ridge.
Yeah.
So therefore, two parcels.
Any comments from the council? Do we have any written comments or objections on file?
No, we don't.
Do we have any comments or objections from the general public in attendance this evening? There being no more comments or objections on the vacation of a parcel of land located in the Eagle Ridge addition to the city of Humboldt, Humboldt County, Iowa, I will close the public hearing at 6:08 PM. Under resolutions, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-57. A resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a development agreement by and among the city of Humboldt, Mitchell Aaron Fidalson, and North Central Iowa Service LLC.
Just one thing on that, you'll see that it's both Mitch and his business. He's holding the property personally, and the development agreement names both because the property will then be utilized by North Central Iowa Service, but it'll be held personally. And that's one of those things why you pay a lot of money is because then the attorneys have crafted it so that there's no way that
Protection.
one could be, cut loose of the other or anything along those lines, so. But that's why you see both of those on there.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye. Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-58. A resolution ordering the construction of the Eagle Ridge Addition Phase 2 in the city of Humboldt, Iowa, setting a public hearing on the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost, and directing the publication of notice to bidders.
This is why David's with us.
Yes.
He killed some trees.
They're preliminary, so
Second.
I'll take it back too.
What's that?
Sacrifice to
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is just the chunk of road, I mean, this is Eagle Ridge Drive and extending it the rest of the way, it's pretty simple. Matching the same type of design too, what you had done before was 6 inches of asphalt, PCC curb and gutter, 2.5 feet curb and gutter, 6 inches thick, same sections as before, sub-drain, 6 inches sub base underneath said roadway, and 8 inches of subgrade prep. Typical things on it, if you notice, we almost got away with all of the utilities being constructed except the service lines are gonna be stubbed out to the south, because they weren't installed on the water and the sewer. So those will be installed at this time. And there'll be just a tiny chunk of sanitary that needs to be extended on that section of Burr Oak Lane. Pretty typical is following the natural lay of the land, because it was already preliminary graded there. It'll come up and go back, it'll go up kind of in the middle of Burr Oak Lane, and then it'll start coming back down. Sorry. The one thing I noticed, we did change on the water main project, the same as this. We're gonna go with the plastic service lines on the water with tracer wire run on those. We will also run tracer wire with our sanitary sewer services. It's a minimal cost to run it and just drop it in at the same time. So it makes Clint took off. It makes Clint's job a little bit easier locating those sanitary sewer services in the future.
Is that the material that they used on the other part of the drive, David, or did they use copper, or did they use PVC on the other part of it?
I believe they use copper, cause I was looking at the old one. So it is a change, so there would be a change throughout.
It was copper, yeah.
We can switch it, but,
I was just curious.
yeah,
if it was-
but I think the cost is pretty good on switching to the PVC lines. And if you're running tracer, I mean, that's the big thing about copper, that's why the guys always preferred it, is because well, how in the world do we locate it? Well, they'll have the curb stop box, the Minneapolis style curb stop box, it's got the two little toggles on it that they can attach that. They'll run it up. There's a really good detail on it if you wanted to look, and maybe Nick has shown you in the past, but on VO1, it shows the sanitary sewer service and the water service on there. It shows exactly what's done there, so they actually run that from the main, they expose that so that you can tell when you get to the main and make that transfer, and then they will coil it up on the back so that they can actually pull that, when they attach onto that end. One thing I did, notice is that these lots, most of them that we're attaching to now are in somebody's actual name, so we're gonna stub those right to the right-of-way line and they can pull from there. The only other difference would be if we wanted to go into that property, but since they're actually owned by somebody, it's a little bit more confusing getting in there, so. And then the sanitary sewer service, real similar, there's a tracer wire access box on those too. And, I always get asked the question in regards to what it costs to run that tracer wire with the sanitary. It's like less than $50. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to do it at the same time, so. You don't have to run tracer wire on your sanitary sewer main because you better be able to figure out that it runs from manhole to manhole. But your service lines are always slightly confusing, so. Pretty straightforward. I mean, if you look, the main sheets that actually show the bulk of it, the fun stuff are the D sheets. Attaching onto existing storm on both ends, tying that stuff in. And that chunk of sanitary shown on that first DO1, that's just to get it outside of that roadway so that you can have it stubbed out. This sanitary sewer is pretty deep, so when they come off on these services, we'll want them to be in between 11 and 12 feet deep. They will actually come up, because it's about 20, and they'll actually have to bench that. The reason that you do that bench is if you go at too much of a grade coming off of there, you actually want to bench that out, because you don't want that slug coming right into your main and actually hitting. You want it to slow down as it comes through. So there's going to be plenty of grade for it to go through there. It'll come rather well. That sanitary is deep in this section. So, any particular questions for the rest of the design?
Is it mainly sand area, or is it rock, or?
In this area, I talked to, if you'll notice on our estimate reference, I was talking to Aaron about it too. There was a couple yielding spots when they did Eagle Ridge. Might have been due to the construction time that they did that. They had some wet conditions during that time. I'm sure you guys remember it. We did throw a little bit in there, I think about 50 linear feet, full width wide, of coring out. Now, if we don't use that, great, it just lowers the overall cost. But I like to get a unit price prior to bidding the project, so that we have a unit price that if we need to use that, we have something built in there. So I'm not anticipating real tough conditions in regards to the actual construction.
Pretty well compacted when they were down in that area.
Yeah, yep. And it's been preliminarily graded, cut quite a bit already, so they should be able to attach it around pretty easy.
What are we looking at, roughly completion date on something like that?
I don't know if I have a copy of the schedule. I didn't know if you included those in or not. Here it is. So there's really two completion dates on this. I want to get good bids, and some of the asphalt guys might be busy doing other things in town, trying to finish up some projects. Okay, yeah. So just on that, and that's the schedule, we're looking at, we'll send out letters for prospective bidders on Wednesday. I have the spec over here. It's the same spec we use on pretty much every one of them, so it's nothing particularly interesting. Send letters for prospective bidders 22nd, we'll publish the 30th, public bid letting August 12th, public hearing on the 17th. One particular item that's a little bit confusing, I want to give them the ability to get the infrastructure in mainly. I want them to be able to grade the roadway, I want them to be able to rock the roadway, so that they could actually, during winter conditions, they might not be able to pave at that time, but we have outlined that the paving could be completed June 1st, by June 1st. So it allows you to get the rock down, if during the winter conditions, people still are able to dig a basement, being the big one, it allows them to actually get in there, go across that rocked roadway, and then they'll come back, they'll trim that sub-base, and then they'll put down their asphalt and their PCC.
And Mid-American will not stick in utilities until they have back curb. They wanna know what they're dealing with and where the curb's gonna be, and at least close to final grade.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of conversations.
We've tried a million times, you can't get them to do it.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna seed your entire site and then they're gonna come dig straight through it, it doesn't matter. You just have to put up with it. But-
The reason that you're recommending or suggesting hot asphalt mix on this is because the other section of Eagle Ridge Drive is that particular product?
Yep, that, to make that uniform.
I
Yep.
see. Are we limiting ourselves because we're only, kind of targeting asphalt contractors rather than cement or concrete
Mhm.
people? I mean, would be,
I love doing concrete roadways, so I don't mind either way. I think it is a preference, but the fact that you started with asphalt going that far, it would be the uniformity of tying that through. Yep.
And concrete numbers have gone up a little bit compared
Yes.
to asphalt.
Yep, asphalt
Before,
actually
when we
went
bid this,
down
it
this
was-
year.
yeah.
And concrete went up this year.
So when we bid this, we did get pretty stellar numbers on concrete, and that's why it was so close when we bid alternates. Now, I think the difference is asphalt's looking pretty attractive
Yeah.
cost-wise compared to concrete, so.
I mean, our ability, in the last month to add in items to the roadway project, and to maintain those same numbers is a real good indicator that we could get good numbers in regards to asphalt, So the fact that they haven't gone up in a year and actually maybe have gone down, that's great. Yep.
that might be an arguable point, concrete versus asphalt, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, yeah, completely.
as far as longevity or service or durability or something like that.
The one nice thing about asphalt, I think the thing that they always, the big sell on it is the fact that you can mill and overlay it really easily. And that's a good rejuvenation method. It's harder with concrete. I mean, you're gonna overlay on the concrete, kinda messes up your curb a little bit because you end up putting a little bit of asphalt in there. Decreases some drainage, but, it is definitely mainly an opinion going back and forth. You talk to all the asphalt guys, they're gonna say asphalt. You talk to concrete guys, they're gonna say concrete. I mean, 110%. I mean.
I think kind of, like Humboldt Business Park and all the industrial parks, we put down concrete there, just because.
And those
they're
are-
pretty truck traffic.
truck traffic.